So so putting the sales hat on, kind of just explaining what it is. So Data Link Server is a piece of software that runs and can run on any machine. There won't be a license to run the Data Link Server. Where the gotcha is the connection from the Data Link Server to Xpression. So Xpression has to be licensed to be able to get that information. But you can install it. I think if you even did a Windows Start key, typed in data, like as you spell out data link. Xpression Data Link Server, second one. There you go. So you can now go File. Actually, no, just hit the bottom there, Add New. You get a list of all the different data types that we can connect to. So the very first one is Excel, ADODB. But you also have an ASCII data source, or further on down you've got Daktronics, so if you were doing sports or anything like that, those are the scoring computers. Dashboard data link source, so you can actually create a dashboard panel that pushes data into your Xpression, which you kind of have already because of the data, the dashboard, the Xpression plugin kind of allows you to type text in and adjust text from the dashboard. But as you make more complex, the RSS feed would be the one that you will use a lot of. You've got JSON data links, so XML data links. But RSS, if you click on that.
Well, this is the kind of thing where, I mean, like, might be a silly question. Would airports use this kind of thing to update their displays, or do they have some
they could have something different. They would have different software.
Okay.
But the theory, the concept is going to be the same. So if you,
So do they use
yeah.
JSON?
if you hit RSS HTTP data link source, you get a dialog box that pops up. So you see there's a URL. So if you're able to get to your RSS feed, it's just a matter of pasting in a web address. So if you did go to your Chrome right now and looked up we're looking for an weather RSS weather feeds or something like that. What do you see? Yeah, the National Weather Service. Try that one. It used to be easier, but it's like, so if you found the right one. So what does that, what does that say?
Dense fog advisory. That'll tell me what it actually is. But
Yeah, we're looking for the, that,
there we go.
that there, right? If you click on it, highlight that whole page, the URL at the top. So if you go now into your data link server, paste it in there. You could leave everything just automatic and by default there, hit OK. Now you can give it a name. Click Browse. And there is the data. So this is a good sign. This means that the data link server is connecting to that.
Working.
Now
Just
you're
not forwarding it to
Yeah.
Xpression. Yeah.
So how would the Xpression use it? Is the text object, the data source, like where the tab that says, jump to Xpression real quick. Go to your layout. So go to page 1 and click on the text object, because this is how you would add it in, right?
Yeah.
You go to the data source tab in your object inspector, and you would choose data link, and you'd hit set. You get this dialog box. If you hit the drop down, you're going to see the Jefferson. I'm not sure what you typed in there.
Jefferson Weather.
Yeah, that would be what you would see, and then you would hit browse. what you would then see is if you go back to your data link server, is this window, which you would then scroll down to the thing that you want to display.
Dense fog advisory now in
Yeah.
effect.
You click on that, and you see at the top it says column. So that's the information which would be populated in that
Okay.
pop-up window that's in the studio. You hit OK, and it's gone. So it's gone. It works. So the idea then being, as that data link or data changes, that text object will change, will update. And if it's online, if you go back to Xpression,
So that's the kind of thing where if the RSS feed is sending nothing in that summary,
nothing.
then
We'll
you
get
can
an
set
empty
it to
page.
not appear here at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, it's like
Got it. Yeah.
if the text is empty, turn the visibility off.
Yeah.
If you go down to your studio, Xpression Studio there, so you'll see there's column. I'll go hit set again. You'll see it says column row, but you've got options below that says, do you want to update when the data changes? You see there live update, meaning if the graphics on air, it will live update. If the graphics, you can uncheck it. That way, the data only stays current when you take it
In
online.
the middle of the weather report, it's changing behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
like,
happened.
and that's actually how we'll do. If you've ever seen a score bug where the number rolls, we can build in. You can do it through Visual Logic
So if
or
that's
scripting.
unchecked, it's not the kind of. It doesn't mean that it would just not refresh unless you tell it manually to refresh every time. It would still continue to gather that information
Right.
in real time. It just would prevent it from pushing that to
On air, correct.
Right. Okay.
But what we typically will do is like when the data changes, we'll tell it to do an animation. And so you then
Looks like
animates the old
we did,
ones
looks like
out.
we did it on purpose.
Yeah, score clock. With the team score that with the number rolls instead of. What you're doing is you're looking at a dummy number. In the back is where the data is, and so it says if the data doesn't if they don't equal, run an animation which rolls the fake number off. You animate the new number on, which is the new, and then as soon as that animation finishes, you copy that new number to the fake number, and then you cut the fake number back on and hide the real number. And then so if we had time, we would have done something like that. But
This is great.
so that's what you'll get. That's how you connect.
Yeah.
So that way, in this example, we wouldn't have had to copy. We wouldn't have had to run the script to pull the text from the object of the parent, where it'll just sit there going. Now, what goes on is you've got n increment. There's a whole section there so we would have built 3 pages, and however many. So if it was a news story, a news feed, the first page would be tied to the first story, the second page would be tied to the second story, the third page would be tied to the third story. But because we're going to loop it back around, we don't want it to replay the first story again. I want to go to the 4th story, then the 5th and the 6th, and then 7th and 8th. So as it rolls through, we're just going down the list. And the way that's what the n increment's about. So usually the column is going to have a number of the story in it. And that becomes a variable that we'll cross that road when you get to it. But I have a connection to a Google Sheet. So if I browse that information, I've got a number, a first name, a last name, a headshot path. I was trying to get stocks to come in it because the Google Sheets can do a little extra stuff. And then there's just different columns depending on what I've got. So I've got first and last names, and I can connect those together. I'm trying to remember. I was just playing around with it. But in your Google Sheet setup, you share it. You share it as a comma-separated value text file. And I've got this URL that's a docs.google.com spreadsheet, and it's got a bunch of gibberish that refers to the specific sheet. Now, right now I'm going, how do I get to that Google Sheet?
Control A, yeah.
Because do I go... I don't know if I created a... Well, that's just a...
That link down.
That's the
CSV.
CSV, yeah. I want my Google Sheets. Now I got to figure out how to do that.
I bet if you pasted the URL, you could figure out how to edit it to get to the actual document.
Or just type in Google Sheet.
There might be a variable in the URL.
Because I've got Xpression all the time, right?
~mark
So
equals or whatever.
untitled. See, if I was thinking about this, I would have actually done a shortcut.
No worries. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing couple of days.